Hello and welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Kimberlie Acosta. Many of the stories heard here can be found at our websites, IndianCountryNews.com or IndianCountryTV.com. Here is the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Makkah Cultural and Research Center in Neah, Washington will be holding its 30th anniversary celebration this summer and will extend it all summer long. The museum first opened in June of 1979, and currently about 15,000 visitors per year visit the museum. The museum will be offering a summer lecture series along with other events throughout the summer and hope to bring an exhibit there from the National Museum of the American Indian. The exhibit hasn't been in the Northwest in nearly 100 years. It includes a 50% scale model of a whaling canoe, including full figures and full equipment. In addition to the temporary and permanent exhibits about Makkah culture and history, the museum cares for over 60,000 Ojibwe artifacts. The museum not only houses artifacts, it's the center of research about the Makkah people and its culture, as well as featuring exhibits on Makkah whaling and sealing culture and 500-year-old artifacts from the Ojibwe village. For more information on the museum, you can visit makkah.com. Retired Air Force Major Jim Oberman thought most military personnel received awards and had no idea his honors were a big deal until he discovered that he is the highest decorated Native American fighter pilot in the United States. Oberman has received 18 air medals, including the prestigious Air Force Distinguished Flying Cross 3 times. He received the Distinguished Flying Cross for his heroic efforts piloting an AC-130 gunship on March 28, 1970 over Laos, Vietnam. He was responsible for disabling numerous vehicles carrying supplies and ammunition for enemy units. Oberman did this while facing 436 rounds of enemy anti-aircraft's fire. Oberman, a Wisconsin Oneida, enlisted in the Air Force in 1952 during the Korean War and retired in 1972. Recently, Oberman's military career was recognized by the state of California as his image is life-size on the California Veterans Memorial in Sacramento. Oberman has now taken on the role of honoring veterans countrywide and is on a mission to have every Eagle staff in Indian Country have a separate eagle feather on top of it to honor Lori Piestewa, the first Native American woman killed in combat in March of 2003 in Iraq. He is also involved in identifying and honoring any potential Oneida code talkers during World War II. On May 5th, the Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary from Wisconsin released an immature bald eagle back into the wild at the Oneida Nation Elementary School. The eagle was brought to the sanctuary last year as a yearling with food poisoning. The sanctuary decided to release the eagle in Oneida as a way to thank the nation for its continued support. While one eagle is rescued, rehabilitated, and released, another is found that will never be able to soar the skies again. In Brimley, Michigan, a large male bald eagle was discovered in early April by Jan Bertram while she walked her dog on the beach near her home in Birch Point Loop. The eagle had a wing that was completely broken near the body and an open wound which is inconsistent with a wound inflicted by a gunshot. Bertram contacted Ann and Jerry Tressel of Drafter, Michigan, to help with the injured bird. The Dressels, who have rehabbed everything from beavers to bears for more than 30 years, came to the rescue, but once they realized the severity of the injury, they rushed the eagle to the Raptor Education Group in Antigo, Wisconsin, where it was quickly determined that the male eagle would never fly again. However, thanks to the watchful eye and quick action of Bertram, he will survive and now be used for an educational program in the future after he completes his rehabilitation in Wisconsin. To learn more about the Raptor Education Group or to make a donation to sponsor the injured eagle, you can visit raptoreducationgroup.org. Groundbreaking research on an oral rabies vaccine for dogs on the Navajo Nation has captured the interest of some neighbors to the south. Mexican health officials visited Chinle, Calienta, and many farms, Arizona in April to observe Navajo Nation's veterinarian Scott Bender's research on oral rabies vaccine and injectable birth control for dogs. The research is a cooperative effort between the veterinary program, Navajo Nation Animal Control, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Federal Centers of Disease Control. The Mexican health officials were impressed enough with the program that they ordered several thousand doses of the vaccine to launch their own experiments. Hollywood celebrities, activists, and indigenous youth are pulling together in a prayer vigil and peaceful demonstration in solidarity with 65 tribes, 1,000 communities, and more than 30,000 indigenous peoples in Peru who are being criminalized by their government for holding peaceful protests throughout the country's Amazon region. The prayer vigil was taking place the evening of May 26th in front of the Consulate General of Peru at 3450 Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles, California. Celebrities attending to help raise awareness and speaking at the vigil are Courte, who starred in The New World and The People Speak, Clifton Collins Jr., who starred in Star Trek and The Horseman, Alex Merez, who will be starring in the upcoming Twilight New Moon, and Jesse Garcia, who starred in Quinceañera. Other celebrity activists lending their support include Colin Farrell, Woody Harrelson, and Jose Morales. The demonstrators called on the Peruvian government to respect the rights of indigenous peoples and refrain from using military force, violence, repression, and bloodshed in their response to the indigenous mobilizations. Furthermore, they strongly urged the Peruvian press and media to commit to accurate press coverage of the protests and stop radicalizing and distorting the position of the indigenous protesters in the eyes of the public. For more information on the vigil and to read more about what is happening throughout the Amazon, you can go to takepart.com/blog/author/Couriancakilcher, which is Couriancakilcher. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We'd like to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast. We look forward to seeing you again. Thank you and have a grand day.